Welcome everybody to the DragonFly Theater YouTube edition. Now, if you don't know what the DragonFly Theater is, I've been doing a podcast called the DragonFly Theater for about a year, and what I do on the podcast is I will do fan commentaries for some of my favorite horror films of all time, and I will also do some lists like my top 5 favorite international horror films, top 5 favorite Vincent Price films, shit like that. Because I love horror, and I will usually start off each podcast by saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dragonfly Theater. My name is Kevin, and I will be your host." So, welcome to the Dragonfly Theater YouTube edition. My name is Kevin, and I will be your host. And I'm going to be talking about horror stuff, horror movies, horror fiction, horror videos, horror everything, because I am a fan of horror. I have horror stuff everywhere. I go to conventions, and I'm just pretty much a huge nerd for horror stuff. So let's get started. Now, for me, horror works very well in the short form, short stories, short films, TV shows like Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone. Uh, they work well within the horror genre because it's an automatic payoff, especially with stuff like Tales from the Crypt, where you had these characters that were very defined quickly, and you got to the resolution very quickly. Really simple. Usually they were very simple stories, but they were effective, and especially with the EC Comics, which Tales from the Crypt is based off of, Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, The Haunted Fear. Those comics usually had about 4 stories for one comic book, just very simple short stories, but very gruesome, had the comeuppance parts, and it even goes farther back to the golden age of radio with horror-themed radio shows like Suspense, Lights Out, Inner Sanctum, which if you have a chance, I know that on YouTube there are people who upload these old horror radio shows, and I recommend them very highly. My favorite personally is Suspense. So if you have a chance, go and take a listen. So tonight we're gonna be talking about the short form horror film, more specifically YouTube, and how YouTube has pretty much changed the landscape of what the short form horror film is. Back in my day, the only way to get to see really good horror films was to go to the video store, and they had their horror section, and I loved it. I love finding just the most bizarre horror films, and that's where, if it wasn't for the video store, I would have never seen Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead. I mean, that's where I only had the boxes, the VHS boxes to go off of. Nowadays, it's very easy to, with Netflix and Hulu and YouTube, it's very easy to search just a wide variety of filmmakers and subgenres within the horror realm. And I think it is absolutely amazing, and it's a great thing, especially for young filmmakers that want to put a portfolio together, want to start building a career from the foundation. And I think YouTube has given filmmakers the ability to produce some, I don't want to say cheaply made, but low budget stuff that looks great, especially with the technology that we have, to be able to produce these very short films, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and to make something really special and really scary. And it really reminds me of flipping through YouTube. Even you can do the search for just scary videos, and a bunch of stuff comes up, and it's really awesome to just go through and see some really good short films. Now, that's not saying that all the short films that I've seen are great, but I only want to talk about the short films that I like. So, in this first edition of Dragonfly Theater YouTube, I'm going to be talking about two short films that I really, really love, and they're probably my favorites that I've seen on YouTube. And I'm also going to talk about this YouTube channel, which so basically what this YouTube channel for me, Dragonfly Theater, is going to be. It's going to be an exploration of a lot of those really great short films found on YouTube and YouTube channels that cater to the horror fan. So that's where we're at, and that's where we're gonna start. All right, the first one I'm going to talk about is one that was made in 2003 called Lights Out. It's a 3-minute short created by David Sandberg, and it starred his wife. And this uh, came out in 2003, and they put it online and they sent it out to a lot of the different film festivals, and it got rave reviews. Everybody really seemed to love it, and Hollywood took notice. And actually today I just went and saw the Lights Out movie, and it was fucking awesome. So another really cool thing about the Lights Out movie is that it was made on a $5 million budget, and as of today it's grossed about $90 million. What I really love about the Lights Out film is that it goes back to some of the other short films that the Swedish duo made, like Cam Closer, Attic Panic, and Pictured. I mean, there's a lot of those different references in the Lights Out feature-length film that do callbacks to a lot of their short films that they did, which if you have the time, man, go and check them out. Go check out all their little short films. You won't be disappointed. I like them, and I highly recommend it. Now, I don't really have the greatest memory in the world, so I gotta have notes. So, like I said, it was the short film was directed by David Sandberg, and he actually directs this feature-length film of Lights Out. And interesting enough, he's going to be directing the sequel to Annabelle coming out in 2017, so be on the lookout for that. Lights Out, as of today, has a 76% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It stars Teresa Palmer, Gabriel Bateman, Billy Burke, Maria Bello, and Alex DePersia. Like I said, I really, really like this film, and if you haven't seen it yet, go and see it now. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but I'm just going to say, you know, as far as like PG-13 horror goes, which it is PG-13, and I've had my issues with PG-13 horror, but this one being PG-13 and everything, it's one of the best PG-13 horror films that I've probably ever seen, and for me, that's kind of saying a lot. Hold on a second, I gotta take a drink. Anybody that knows me kind of knows that I like weird and odd little films. I'm very much into surreal filmmaking, so this next one really kind of fit. It unnerved me. It was surreal, and I thought it was a very cool version of hell. And this little short film was made by David Earl, and it's called There Is Nothing or Dining Room. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and go over there now. What I'm going to do is each of the short films, everything I talk about, I'm going to put a link in the comment, or not the comment section, the description section, so that you can go and check this shit out. Watch it alone, watch it in the dark, because it's some fucked up shit. David Earl also has a website, davidbearl.com. Go there, check it out, because he explains a little bit more about what There Is Nothing is all about. And he actually says that it's the one filmmaking experience that more people talk about than anything else that he's ever done, and for a good reason. What I really love about There Is Nothing is the fact that you can't really tell when it starts and stops, because it loops back on itself, because You can play it through. It's only a minute long, but once it ends, you can hit the repeat, and it'll just. It feels like it's just a wheel going back and forth, back and forth. And I think that is really a really great idea and something that is really cool. Now, on to my YouTube channel pick of the week, and this one is probably a YouTube channel that I visit more than any other, and it's Top Fives. It's made by a very smooth talking Englishman, and I definitely have a soft spot in my heart for that suave English accent. But and he does lists, top fives. He does top fives lists, and a lot of the stuff that he does are things like with aliens and ghosts, mysteries, odd creatures, and outer space. And he actually has a website as well, top5s.co or .co.uk. That's top5s.co.uk. So, and there is a lot of content on the website. So definitely go in and check him out. Subscribe to his channel, and while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to mine. It would mean a lot to me. So yeah. Um, this horror genre works very well in the short format, and the old school radio shows like Suspense. I mean, and when Suspense was on the radio, they had top stars doing their radio program, like Vincent Price, and they had Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, and on and on and on. And also with EC Comics, EC Comics was started by William Gaines, or actually his father Max Gaines started it, and William took over the company, and that's when it really started to become what it is known today. Like Tales from the Crypt, which actually Tales from the Crypt actually started out as the Crypt of Terror, and actually William Gaines started Mad Magazine, if you can believe it. But once the Comic Code Authority came out, in the Comic Code is basically the censorship for comic books, and once the Comic Code came in, that was pretty much the death of things like Tales from the Crypt. And it was really sad because they thought that comic books like Tales from the Crypt were the reason for a lot of juvenile delinquency, a lot of juvenile crime, which is total bullshit. I know that that's just not true, but back in the 50s and 60s, they didn't see it that way, so then they had the Comic Code, and that was pretty much the end for the really good EC comics like Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, and the Crypt of Fear. Alright, I got one more thing to do, and then I'll let you go. As you can see, I love collecting horror stuff. Like I said, I go to a lot of horror conventions. I got a lot of posters that I have signed. I really love meeting people, not just the celebrities, but fans as well. I love meeting people that have the same interests as I do, and so that's always really, really fun. And and I've gone to quite a few, and I really like it. But I also like to collect toys, and they have a horror blind box. And if you're a parent, you know exactly what a fucking blind box is, because I have kids and they always want blind boxes, but they have a horror one. And see, I got The Creature, I got Alfred Hitchcock, and I have The Fly. But I have one that I haven't opened yet, and I'm going to save it for right now. I'm going to open it now to see what it is, and I hope that it's not one that I have already. So I already took the plastic off. I haven't opened it yet, but I did take the plastic off because there's nothing more annoying than hearing plastic being rustled around on mic. Here we go, folks. What is it? Oh yeah, and I am holding a microphone because I'm doing this in my room, and I don't have a boom mic operator. It's just me, and hopefully one day I won't be holding a mic. I can just talk like normal, but until then, I'm gonna hold a microphone like a jackass. So let's see what this is. I really hope that it's not a duplicate. I think it is a duplicate. It is not a duplicate. I have the gremlin from Gremlins. That's really cute, huh? I know my son will love this. My son loves scary things. He's 6 years old, and about a year ago, he came to me and said, "Daddy, do you like scary things?" I said, "Yeah, I like scary things." And then he said, "Do all daddies like scary things?" And I said, "No, not all daddies like scary things." Um, and then he said, "Do you have to be a daddy to like scary things?" I'm like, "No, you can. Anybody and everybody can like scary things. Even if you don't like scary things, that's okay." But he really likes scary things, so he went and saw Ghostbusters. He loves Ghostbusters, so I'm very proud of him for that. And even if he didn't like scary stuff, I'd still be proud of him. So anyway, that's about it, folks. I'm gonna be doing a lot more of these YouTube videos, and they won't always be about YouTube videos. I'll talk in general about other horror related things, and yeah, I guess that's about it. See you later.